It just seemed like Baton Rouge was asleep. They hadn't woken up to the fact that there was such a thing as modernism and modern art.
It was a very different place when we came down here. Certain mores and manners were established.
There were some art galleries that dealt with traditional art, attempting to describe a world that didn't exist anymore. The art scene wasn't about young creative people. There was no place for us to show the work we were doing. There was no contemporary art gallery to speak of. We felt we really needed to open a door here.
We had grandiose thoughts. We were young, but our ideas were big. And you can't shut off ideas. They got to come out. And so that's what this was all about, letting our ideas out.
It was a time of awakening on many levels. The beginnings of unrest in the American soul that was happening all over the country, and it started to happen here. And we were a small part of that.
And so we got to start a gallery. 8 of us got together and called it Unit 8 Gallery.
Our first place was an abandoned doctor's offices, and it was due to be torn down, in a year or less, so we knew it was temporary. And our gallery spaces were examination rooms, large closets, corridors, and a waiting room. And so that's what we had to do with, and it was far from, what you would think of as a gallery space. It wasn't a gallery space.
We were all in different disciplines. There was a sculptor, there's a photographer, there's a painter, there's a printmaker, there's someone in ceramics. We all had individual art forms. So it was very easy for us to get along and to support each other.
If I had an exhibit, I think they gave me the keys and said, okay, it's yours. We would get together and set up a schedule. You took responsibility for your month.
And we had a lot of attendance at our openings and our receptions, and we sold a lot of work. We created our own audience, so to speak. We were showing work that was very experimental, very unusual, and never have seen before in Baton Rouge. But gradually, it grew.
And I think it went on like that for about a year or so. Then we had a big meeting with Paul Dufour and Janice Saxey and several other people at Saxey's house, and we decided to start the Baton Rouge Gallery and make it a nonprofit organization.
Once the Baton Rouge Gallery got up and running, young people came, they had live music. I mean, it got to be a very hip place to be.
My first recollection of the gallery was when it was in a little pink house on North Boulevard. That was my first exposure there. And then from there, the gallery went to North 4th Street.
As a college student at Southern University, I would venture out to downtown from time to time, and I would always find my way to 4th Street and go into Baton Rouge Gallery to see what artworks were on exhibition. At that time, Frank Hayden, Apple Laverne, who was a sculptor, also Van Chambers. We had 3 professors from Southern showing that in the gallery at that particular time.
What was shown there was good quality work, and all of the artists at that point were local. Pipes above the building froze and burst and ruined a lot of the artwork and destroyed the building, basically. So we were forced out. We left there and went actually to Kornmeyer's Furniture Store, just as a temporary gallery. And then Joe Yoder and Alan Brent approached, I believe it was Gene Young at the time, who was the superintendent of Breck, about the swimming pool building.
The lighting wasn't all that good, that's for sure, and it needed paint and needed this, needed that, but it's a lot better than what we were at.
It gave us stability, and we no longer had to look for another place to show in because this was there. All we had to do was keep developing it.
Having that bigger space not only let us grow physically, but I think the attitudes changed, and it brought us more into the community. Because it was in a place that was a community gathering spot to begin with.
City Park pool houses, it's been there for so many years. Rather than see something like that torn down, to find a secondary use for it that really provides everyone in our community an opportunity. It's just part of our community landscape that, to me, is a very, very valuable piece.
With the changing times, the gallery has continued to grow and meet the challenges for the art scene and broaden, our acceptance of art in general here in Baton Rouge.
Everybody who shows in the Baton Rouge Gallery is exploring a creative, expressive idea. And that's always worth being in touch with.
There is music there, there is poetry read there, new fiction is read there, filmmakers are showing there. It's become a scene for all the contemporary arts and not just the visual arts.
It boggles the mind when you think of all the things that are happening here that weren't happening before, let's put it that way.
When Baton Rouge Gallery was a small gallery, I had this vision in mind. I would say, I hope Baton Rouge Gallery could bring more of the public in to be able to see the artwork through other ways. And today is that way. It's a gallery that's known as a visual arts gallery, but now it's tied into the whole community. And I mean, that's what I've always envisioned Baton Rouge Gallery to be.